This is a HeadGum podcast.
The following is an announcement of my new show called Get It Right by Rewire.News, an intersection of geek culture, feminism, and reproductive justice. Hi everyone, I'm teaming up with the website Rewire.News to explore the intersection of their work and mine on a brand new podcast called Get It Right. On Get It Right, we explore pop culture through the lens of justice, and particularly reproductive justice. I'll be talking to critics and creators about comics, movies, TV, music. Anything is fair game. Our first show is live. It's a great discussion with Joanna Robinson of VanityFair.com on the way Game of Thrones handles and mishandles issues of race, gender, sex, and sexual assault. You can find it now on iTunes or Stitcher. Just search for Get It Right or Rewire. Give it a listen and drop us a review with any ideas for what you'd like to hear us cover. See you soon.
Hi, this is Anika Noni Rose, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Hi, I'm Andre Meadows. I have a YouTube channel, Black Nerd Comedy. Have you heard of it? Don't matter, because you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast, the best podcast in the whole world that I'm doing a promo for right now. Boom! That's true.
Hey there, this is Ava DuVernay, creator of Queen Sugar on OWN, and you're listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
This is Shanae Gibbs. This is Chanel Gibbs, also known as the Gibbs Sisters. And we're on the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Peace, y'all. What's up? This is Akil, the MC from the Jurassic 5, and you are now tuned in to Black Girl Nerds podcast. Yeah, I like nerdy girls.
Yo, what's up? This is Sheo Hodari Coker, the showrunner and creator and executive producer of Marvel's Luke Cage. You're listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
This is Latoya Morgan. I am a writer on Into the Badlands, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Hi, this is Daryl Bell from Planet Earth. Now, actually, I'm from a different world, School Days, and, well, Chicago. There you go. I'm from there, too. And it's a joy and a pleasure to be here on the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Holla boys and girls, it's the BGN. Coming from the Marvel world to the DC friends. All the way from Hollywood to the PCN. She defends everyone from sleazy men. Won't apologize for spitting Shonda rhymes. The space that we make is never colonized. We're talking games and movies and actors. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Yeah, better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.
Thanks for tuning into episode 92 of the Black Girl Nerds podcast. My name is Jamie, and I am your host. This episode is titled SamiraSoBae, Empire, and Tuxedo Mask. 3 segments. In our first segment, we invite the one, the only Samira Wiley. SamiraSoBae was a hashtag that we used on Twitter to express our love and our crush on this amazing actress who had an exit that was very controversial on Orange is the New Black. But you can catch Samira on some new projects, including her latest film called 37. And she's got some TV roles that are under her belt. And she discusses that on a one-on-one with Caron. In our second segment, we invite Serayah Mcneill. Serayah plays the role of Tiana, Hakeem's love interest, on Fox's Empire. And that is a one-on-one interview with Caron yet again. In our third segment, we invite Robbie Daymond. You know him best from so many roles in animation, anime, and video games. and he was the hotness that is Tuxedo Mask in Sailor Moon. And this is a one-on-one interview with Kayla. So that's it. 3 incredible actors and 3 fantastic segments. Stay tuned for some really great exclusives that we got from New York Comic Con. Right now we are winding down. We're also gearing up for some new stuff. And if you haven't done so already, check out my new podcast. It's Rewire News' new show called Get It Right. On that show, I'm talking about the intersection of geek culture with reproductive justice issues. And we tackle it from both issues as someone who is a fan, as well as being socially conscious to these issues. So you can listen to Rewire's Get It Right on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Music, and Spreaker, the same streams that you can listen to the Black Girl Nerds podcast on. So sit back, relax, and I think, again, well, I know it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. Listen to this podcast, share it, tell everybody about it. Check out Get It Right, listen to it, share it, tell everybody about it. And thanks again for your long and continued and loyal support. Enjoy! Samira Wiley is an actress and model best known for playing Pussy Washington in the Netflix original series Orange is the New Black. Wiley studied drama at Juilliard School in New York and graduated in 2010. She's trained in theater performance and worked mainly in theater in her early career. Currently, the new film called 37, starring Samira Wiley, Michael Potts, Marquise Gary, Christina Brucato, Maria Dizia, Adrian Martinez, and so many more, is playing on demand. 37 is inspired by the true story of Kitty Genovese's murder in Kew Gardens, New York in 1964. The story made national headlines when it was reported that 37 neighbors witnessed the brutal murder and rape of Kitty Genovese and did not intervene, something known as the bystander effect, a fictional account of what may have happened. 37 peeks in the lives of 3 disparate families, the lonely neighbor who may have witnessed that tragic night. Take a listen to this segment featuring actress Samira Wiley, hosted by Caron.
Hey guys, this is Caron for the Black Girl Nerds podcast, and today we have Samira Wiley. Best known for her role as Pussy Washington on Orange is the New Black, her star continues to rise far beyond the bars of Litchfield. I'm so excited. She's our guest today on the podcast. She's fresh out, y'all. Welcome, Samira. Hi. We're so glad to have you. But before we go on behalf of all of us at Black Girl Nerds, congratulations on your engagement.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You are so welcome. A few people are a little bit salty because they thought you were the one, but we are all so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Samira, did you have any idea how much you were loved before Orange is the New Black ended for you?
I think that I knew that people were really fond of the character of Pussy. I don't think that I fully understood until the reaction came out how much people would be affected. I knew that people would be affected, but the response was just overwhelming. You know, I guess it's uncomfortable for me to think that people, you know, love me, but it's such a great feeling to be able to have such an outpouring of love from people who fell in love with that character and people who have subsequently grown fond of me.
Well, why do you believe Pussy was endeared and connected with so many people?
When I think about Pussy, I think about, oh gosh, that sounds like somebody I want some traits I want to have. You know, she's such a good friend. She has a real moral compass. She's tiny but has a huge heart, and she has become sort of the moral center for the show. Even we especially see that in season 2, where she is able to stand up to the character of V, who ended up being so diabolical. The girls that she was manipulating, and to the rest of the prison, she was not to be trusted. And Pussy saw that from the beginning, and I think that is something very admirable and something that I think a lot of people who just want to be, quote unquote, good people admire.
So we know that hindsight is 20/20. How has Orange is the New Black impacted your life as an artist, and what was the most significant thing you took away from that experience?
Oh gosh, Orange completely changed my life, I think is an understatement. I was a bartender before I got the job on Orange, and I was so scared that they wouldn't call me back for the next episode because it was episode by episode. You didn't know whether you were going to be in it or not. And so I stayed bartending the entire time when we filmed season 1. And even just because I didn't know what Netflix was, I didn't know what this release was going to be, I stayed bartending after the show came out. And people started recognizing me. And my friends were like, Samira, I think you should stop doing this. It was, something that I never could have saw coming. The fame from it was not gradual. It was sort of all at once. The show came out on like a Thursday or Friday, and after that weekend, I don't think there's been a day that's gone by where I haven't gotten recognized by someone. I think the most important thing that I have taken away from the show is, I was really privileged to be able to have so many women of power on that set. We had women producers, directors, of course, the creator of our show. I think we have the most women, female writers on a show right now. And to have that be my first venture really into the business in such a big way, the magnitude of that role and of that show was something I couldn't predict. So to be on set with so many women was inspiring and empowering and something that I'll never forget.
I can imagine. What are your thoughts about how companies like Netflix and web series are changing the way we get our entertainment now?
I think it's honestly just us growing with the time. I think that people have really responded to that type of, receiving their entertainment, to being able to have choice. There are still people which I really like the, framing it as having choice and not, binge watching, because you have that choice too. But there's also people who take their time and want to watch an episode every month or every week, like how, episodes are traditionally aired. And I just think that it's, I don't have too much to say about it other than I like it. It works well in my life. And most of my friends and people that I talk to, it just seems that this was the time to sort of start this, especially Orange being, one of the very first shows that caught on in that way of showing media. It's just a way to view of our time.
Well, you've been very busy. Tell us what you've got coming up. I know you have the movie 37, and there are a couple of other projects that you're working on. What's good for you?
I'm really excited about 37 coming out. I think it's something unlike anything I've ever done. I also think it's just a really important story to be told. I think that it should have probably been told before now in a dramatic way, but I'm happy that it hasn't, so I can be a part of it. Working with Michael Potts, who's, a veteran actor and someone who I look up to, being able to work alongside him in the movie was a treat and a learning experience, and something that I feel like was, helped me shape a small part of who I am as an artist. And so I've got that. I've got, I think, the most immediate thing other than 37, the TV show I'm working on now with Hulu called Handmaid's Tale, which is based on a Margaret Atwood book. I am having the best time working with, again, so many women of power. You've got Elizabeth Moss, who I feel like it's about time she had her own show. She has been so consistent. I feel like her ability as an actor, I've been a fan of hers, and to be able to work alongside her is a real gift. Then we've got Reed Morano, who is directing the first few episodes of the series. She's such an up-and-coming, director, and is doing amazing things. And to be able to, again, be in the presence of so many powerful women is just a great next step for me.
We're all about powerful women here. What is your ideal direction to go? Do you plan to stay in front of the camera? Do you write? Do you want to get behind the camera? Where's your intent when it comes to moving forward with your career?
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people, in terms of their career, after they've been in it for a while, they start to venture into other, behind the camera and producing and things like that. I think that I want to do things in a way that makes sense and in a way that is not pushing. I want to make sure that I don't just do something like that because I feel like I should. There is, I feel like, just a thing that I've always gone through, something that feels right from role to role, the roles that I take, trying to have some discernment in how my career develops. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely interested in directing. It's hard to be interested in writing when your fiance is a writer and she makes a living that way.
And actually a good one.
Yeah. But I want to make sure that there is an organic time and place for that makes sense for me. I don't want to push myself and then have something be subpar. I'm really invested in being a part of things that have real integrity. And I feel like I have so much more learning to do. I feel like I have learning to do as an actor, and venturing into other parts of the creative process, I think are probably down the line for me, but I want to make sure that they come at the right time.
Where'd you grow up?
D.C., Washington, D.C. is where
Really? Girl, I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah. Grew up in D.C. with two Baptist pastors as parents.
Did you tarry long at the altar? Were you at the altar tarrying?
I was at church 7 days a week.
A week?
And that is not an exaggeration. My parents were so dedicated to the church. It was really inspiring. I mean, sometimes we would have to get the deacons pick us up from school because they were busy. But they'd pick us up and they'd bring us right to church.
We practically lived in the church when I was little too. I'm real churchy. I can get into it.
Yeah.
I know the language, the lifestyle.
Like my second home.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then you had shut-ins.
Yes. That is so funny. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Do you have any other unique talents that we don't know about?
Well, I think some people may know about it just because in season 1, in the last finale of season 1, I sang Amazing Grace in it.
Yes.
Christmas finale. And I grew up, again, referencing the church. I grew up singing in the church. My father is a musician as well as being a pastor, and, was always singing in the choir. I don't know. I don't have any desire right now to, cut an album or anything like that, but I am, of the mind that we have talents for a reason. We should definitely use them. So being able to sing in that episode, I felt like was really great, and I hope that I'm able to, even if it's not solely just singing, to be able to use that in future projects.
I loved that episode.
Aww.
If you could ask one thing of the world, what would it be?
Wow. One thing. See, that's so hard. You gotta pick one thing.
I know, right? It's a lot going on.
I think that the one thing I would teach the world is, there's this, my father did a lot of study on a man named Howard Thurman, who was a theologian. And one quote that will always stay with me, I don't want to act like it's an original quote, is, I just want to learn how to be me without, I'm going to mess it up. I just want to learn how to be me with also, letting you be you. And not being afraid of having you be you while I'm me. I think that there's so much fear in the world. There's so much fear of what someone else is doing and how it's going to affect your life when honestly it's not going to affect your life at all. I think that we have differences for a reason because it's beautiful, and we're able to recognize and celebrate the differences in us as human beings, because how boring is it if everyone is the same? So I want everyone to know, or, to think about trying to be you with letting everybody else be themselves as well.
How long did it take you to be you?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think it's definitely recent. I had I was definitely like not completely, either didn't completely understand who I was, which I feel like a lot of people go through just because of society and what the norms are. And honestly, I don't think I really fully stepped into myself until, I was definitely already had filmed a few seasons of Orange when I was like, maybe just a couple years ago, really, had felt completely comfortable in who I am. And honestly, a lot of that is due to the love that I receive from people on social media, from people who I run into in the street. I get messages from people from all around the world, from Brazil, from Iceland, from Africa, from everywhere, places that would really, I feel like I'm reaching you there. This is mind-blowing. But people who have, literally written about the inspiration that they have gained from me just living my life. And that gives me, it's reciprocal. That gives me more courage to be able to live my life more authentically. So I think it's a give and take. And I really, really do think with the outpouring of love of the last few years from the show has given me so much courage to be able to do that in a bold way.
I always like to ask before I end an interview if you have any words of wisdom or encouragement for our Black Girl Nerds.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of times people are so caught up, and it sounds so good, so caught up in being different, and you have to be different, and it's okay to be different, and it's completely okay to be different. But I think a lot of times that pushes people to try to be inauthentic. I like being yourself more than being different. That we do have differences, but a lot of times, which also makes it so wonderful, is that we're able to commune with people who have the same experience as us. And it's all right to be whoever you are, whether that is the same as someone else or different from someone else. You have to be authentic to who you are. It is so scary to do that, and I don't want to act like it's simple to just be who you are. It is scary. It's a self-discovery of finding out exactly who that person is, and to know that journey may take your entire life. But how wonderful that is to take that journey and figure out exactly who you are as a person and love exactly who that person is.
Wow, thank you so much, Samira. Ladies and gentlemen, Samira Wiley.
In our next segment, Caron interviews actress and singer Serayah Mcneill. She's known as the role of Tiana on Fox's Empire. A staple since season 1, Serayah began as Hakeem's on-screen love interest and has transitioned into a bona fide star.
Hi, Serayah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. Me and my girls are such big fans of yours, and it's really exciting to see you guys in season 3.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So let's jump right into it. I'd like to first know, how has being a part of Empire helped you grow as an artist? I know that this is something that you've always wanted to do, and you kind of gave up a little bit of hope before this role came along. So how have you grown since taking it?
Oh gosh, I've grown a lot. I think being, like you said, granted the opportunity to finally do what I love to do, and being able to grow inside of that has been amazing. The journey has definitely been rewarding. So yeah.
So I really want to talk about your hair, because your hair is thick and rich and buttery and luxurious, and I love it. And I heard in a very early interview, I think it was in season 1, that you didn't always have a love affair with your hair, but it turned out to be an asset for the role. So my question to you is, since then, how has it changed for you as far as your pride in yourself and your self-love?
Oh, God. My character has given me so much, so much just confidence in myself and a lot of things that I didn't like, the body image or whether that's my hair. I think that Tiana has definitely forced me to embrace those things. And I think that growing up with the whole hair thing, and then having to be, and then having the world love the one thing that you were like about yourself, they loved, and that's like, it's just such a ironic situation. So I definitely paid attention to that and started to grow into loving my own, natural self and what that meant. So it's been such a growing journey as far as artistry, but so much for my personal self too.
What's been the most surprising thing about the response from the fans? You are so talented, and being able to see you on Empire, I hope we're going to get to see more of you this season. But what's been the most surprising thing to you about the response from the fans?
Oh, God. I think my hair was the biggest one, and probably just getting a lot of confirmation from my fans that they love, like, my performance and stuff. And then seeing, like, the little kids, like, literally there's this little girl, her name's Violet. She's in this season, and she's a certain character's daughter. And I swear, she is so adorable. She came up to me yesterday on set, and Jesse and Taraji are like, come here, you have to see this, I'm like, what? And then, she just starts doing this dance moves from season 1, and she, like, killed it. And she's like, I got a body like a weapon. It goes, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, and she did the whole, like, dance. And I was like, what the, and it just made me, like, feel like, oh, my gosh, like, how much I influence just kids in general and how the smile on her face just felt. And that time, when I see that, stuff like that, it just makes me feel like, whatever type of day I'm having, it's like, it's so worth it. It's so worth it because I was so her, like, trying to be Beyonce or whoever else. So
yeah.
It's just so worth it to see things like that. And that's, like, the biggest, yeah.
So I wouldn't be a part of Black Girl Nerds if I didn't ask you this question. What is the geekiest thing about you? What is the nerd side of you? Maybe tell me something that other people may not know about you.
Interesting. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I feel like my friends always call me a weirdo, but I don't know why. I think that it's just I'm very silly in my personal life. I have like these, and I don't know if it's because like I've always been into like acting and stuff. I don't know what it is, but I have like this little like me and my friend have this like little dialect that we do, like just stupid stuff like that, and like we have like our own little like language that we talk by, and like that's really weird. Never said that before. And I would probably say that I am like a big YouTube nerd. Like growing in high school, I used to watch like all the tutorials and like natural hair and like makeup and stuff like that. What else? I am such a, I don't know if I'm a nerd, but I'm such a weirdo.
I call my kids weirdos too, and you are not alone in making up the languages. My sister and I had a language, and we called it Sino Nico Bico, and nobody knew what we were talking about, but we made it up and we made it work. So.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that someone else did that.
Us weirdos got to stick together, girl.
I love that. Okay, so I am a nerd. Okay, cool.
Awesome. So what can we expect from you? Do you have a project in the works for us?
Yes, I have a mixtape I'm working on so hard for all my free time that I want to release one of the songs very, very, very soon, within like probably within October. So that's what I'm working on right now very heavily. But yeah, I'm so excited for my fans just to get, some tracks for me and some visuals for me that are free and that are just for them. So yeah.
I am so looking forward to it. Thank you so much. You are super sweet. Thank you so much. I am so excited.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Robbie Daymond is a voice actor, known for providing voices in animation, audiobooks, Japanese anime, and video games. You know him in roles such as Sway Sway from Breadwinners, Mamoru Chiba in Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon, and Evan and Miles from Transformer Rescue Bots. But he has a severely long resume. This is a one-on-one interview with Robbie and Kayla.
I'm really excited because obviously I'm a huge fan.
I can see. I love your shirt. It looks great.
So as far as voice acting, how did you jump into it?
Mine was less of a jump and more of a slow trudge down a path. I've been an actor since I was a little kid. Then I started in theater. I did my first professional play. I was like 10. Did theater all through high school. Started doing summer stock in high school. College, I went to theater for college. Then I started doing summer stock to pay for college and things that I wanted to buy outside of my scholarship and what my parents were giving me. And then I went to grad school for it, got a master's degree, and I got out at 25. Oh. And then it was time to move. Do I go to New York or LA? And I just knew I had to go to one or the other in order to really sort of fully pursue my career. So I decided on LA. And I knew that I wanted to do voice acting, so I cut my demo, and I bummed around for a few months, and then before I really put my head down and started going after it, and in 2008, got my first small agent, ran through all my paces, did all the crappy jobs, then I got a medium-sized agent, and then years later, I got my agent now, which is fantastic, and they're one of the top 5 in the city. It's great, and God, I wish it was like a magical bullet, like I was like walking down the street someday and some guy goes, "You've got a great voice, get in here." It's not like that at all. Yeah. It's just like any other job, you know. I basically started in the mailroom and worked my way up.
That's a really good analogy, especially for a lot of people you hear when they talk about voice acting, that they started here and it's something that, you know, they just progressed into getting into. So
yeah, absolutely.
You've put in your work, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like from 2008 to like 2009, say 10, I was, you know, doing every poopy project I could get my hands on, just so, like I said, poopy. Yeah. I wanted to say shitty, but I thought we could edit it out.
Oh, no, that's completely fine.
Yeah, that I could get my hands on, just so I was trying to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And then when things really turned around 2010, 2011 for me, where I could leave my side job. I didn't have to, like, teach acting anymore. I didn't have to tend bar. I didn't have to do any of that stuff. I could just do voice acting. So I've been there for about 5 years, 6 years. Full time. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you do a lot of anime. Did you have a huge interest in anime before you got started doing
I liked anime.
Okay.
Sure. I watched it. I watched the classics. I watched DBZ in college. I watched Naruto. I watched Death Note. All of that stuff influenced me. But I didn't have the opportunity to do anime until 2014 when I got cast in Sailor Moon. That was my very first anime. So I did a movie with Stephanie, who plays Sailor Moon, Stephanie Shea, called Potama Inverted, like a week before we started on Sailor Moon. That was actually my first anime. This is my first series.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's that been, though, with doing the dub for it and learning all the tricks of trying to match everything
up? It was
up?
definitely like trial by fire. I mean, not everybody walks into their first anime into Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon. You know what I mean? So I was nervous, and I didn't have a lot of the skills I needed. I dubbed before, but I dubbed like live action stuff. Okay. So anime was a lot different. I took to it pretty quick, but you can definitely hear the difference between, like, just in Sailor Moon, like episode 1 and episode, 10. There's you hear me getting better. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because honestly, that's what it takes. It just takes time. There is no like anime class. Bang Zoom's got a nice workshop, but that's about it for all I know. There's a few like private teachers who will teach you how to dub, but yeah. So when I got dropped into that, I was like, oh, you better be ready. So thankfully, I fell back on my skills as a voice actor, and then I was able to learn the dubbing portion of it as I went along in my anime career.
Oh, that's awesome. Especially with you doing animation. You do Breadwinners, which I love. I have a 7-year-old, so I'm partial.
I like it a lot. That's a very divisive show. People either love it or you hate it. I get why people hate it, but I also get why they love it. I personally love it. That's one of my favorite things I get to work on, because the cast is amazing, and it's goofy, and I get to sing and do all sorts of fun voices, and I do other prelay too, and I'm working on stuff that's a new show for Nick and another show for Cartoon Network and Disney. I can't talk about any of them, but they're coming out soon next year, and I really love prelay, which is American animation and video games. But anime is special in a way. The fandom is huge. The style of it is lovely. I like being able to see what's going on. I really like anime a lot. Yeah.
That's great. And so being immersed within the Japanese culture, how has that been for you?
I had a really fun day today. I did a panel with the Japanese voice actor for Gailio, which is my character in Gundam.
Oh.
We had a blast. He's so nice. He's so sweet. We had so many similarities, And because the language is so different and it's so far away, it's across a great ocean, we tend to separate, make their culture so foreign, and really they're just a dude like me. There are cultural differences, but we had a lot of the same answers to the questions. They obviously play the same roles, so we have some similar traits and opinions about acting and all of that stuff. So being in the anime culture itself, that was awesome. Thankfully, people liked what I did with Tuxedo Mask. Not everybody. I'm sure there's some dude in his basement right now who wants to kill me or something. But moreover, the fans have been incredibly supportive and nice and positive about the work. So I got a real blessing by being able to be on the receiving end of that. I didn't get crucified for my first anime, because that happens.
Jumping into, for me, when I watched Sailor Moon Crystal, they only had available the Japanese, so you're getting really excited. I was like, okay, I'll be able to understand it without subtitles, and it worked well for me to listen to it and hear the voices. So I was really big fan.
Yeah, it was nice. We got to do the original and Crystal, which is huge, and we're still working on both. So that was a great show to walk into. And people, when I first got it, were like, "Oh, you're gonna be ready. Your fans are gonna be mean to you." And I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "They love those characters."
There are some I've been since I was a kid, watching the show, and when they rebooted for Crystal, I got really excited. The fact that they said that they were going to stay true to what she originally wanted.
The manga.
Yeah, which was awesome. So I'm like, I'm all ready for it. So there are people that are die-hard, and they
are die-hard, but that's the double-edged sword, right? The more they love it, the more critical they're going to be.
Yeah.
So thankfully, everybody's been really, really positive. Yes. Yeah, great fandom to walk into. Absolutely.
That's awesome. And what's great is that you're Native American.
I am.
Having that diversity is really big. And
you're definitely not the first person to say that, but I appreciate the sentiment for sure. I'm half, so my mother's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful woman, and as far as I know, my dad's pure-blooded, and there is not a lot of representation for Native Americans in the business, but they fall into tropes of noble, savage, all these sort of, and especially in their casting in film and television. I just watched Magnificent Seven, and I love the Seven Samurai, and I love the original Magnificent Seven, and I kind of like this new one. But then the Indian comes up, the Native comes up on a horse with a dead deer and a painted face, and it's like it's like, really, we can't have him just being one of the guys. He's got to be some mythical creature. I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. It's the old stereotype, but they handled it pretty well. He was a very likable character. So
I think it was handled way better than Ridiculous Six.
I didn't talk about that. Yeah. I refused to watch it. I read the script, and that was really disgusting to me.
It was really, I remember talking to my grandmother, and I just gotten her set up on Netflix, and she, for whatever reason, felt the need to click on it because she didn't know what it was, and she was very upset. She was like,
so offensive.
Very offensive.
Somebody showed me a little clip of it. I was like, hey man, don't show me that. That's just, get out of here. It's 2016. We don't need that. And I'm the first one. You ask, I don't know if you've talked to Max or Ray or any of my other friends, but you ask them, I'm the first one to joke about race and taboo subjects. It's my favorite thing to do. It's the best way to
lighten the mood.
It's the best way to lighten the mood. And then when you find out you're comfortable with friends like that, that's cool. But that's joking among friends. Yeah. That's behind closed doors, goofing around with those sort of people. Me, one of my closest friends is my buddy Amari, and he's this big old black dude, huge.
And does a voice for Ben 10?
Amari
on the show.
Oh, Amari Williams.
Yeah.
He does a.
I thought he was.
He's a transformer.
Yes.
He was definitely in Breadwinners. He's the voice, the promo voice for Empire. Just a strong black man voice.
Yeah, I think I got to meet him last year at Dragon Con.
Oh, that might have been it.
He was really, really cool.
Well, we're walking around, and he's this big, imposing guy, and he's 4 inches taller than me, and whatever. We're going to this parking lot, and there's this white guy texting on his phone in this dark parking lot. He's like, hey, I'm 6 foot 225. I was like, hey, what if you and I were scared of that white guy in the corner texting his phone? Him and I were like, oh no, we had a good laugh about that kind of stuff. Is cool to me. That you're able to joke with friends, but I can't bear that sort of stuff. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, when you put that stuff out there for people to see that, there are people that are going to watch it who are of that race that are going to get offended. It's different.
And it's tough too, because even in voiceover, like I played Smokey Brown in JoJo, and I was like, I love the part, and thankfully people have said I did an okay job with it, or whatever. But I was like, really, we don't have a black kid we can cast in this, But that's not and we did, and he got cast in something else as a different role. So, and Smokey is a pretty small role. So even that, I was like a little bit, tugging at my collar about, but that's voiceover, what I mean? So it's a little bit different. But
it's different. Like, a lot of people don't know that, John DiMaggio does all the black voices, and people are like, oh, really?
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah.
And he's great at it. And it's very funny. I'm glad there's not a ton of natives in Hollywood at all, but there's also very few in voiceover, and I'm glad to represent whatever way I can.
Oh, that's great. To have that behind the scenes, which a lot of people, they get defensive, and they're like, oh, well, who's actually doing it? And so to have, a Native American playing a traditionally Japanese character.
Japanese.
It's really cool because, it allows that bridge for diversity instead of a white person playing all the time.
We all come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's I think that we are progressing in that way, and as a society, and that's nice. That's good to see that it's bleeding over into anime too.
Yeah, which is great. So, have you seen any really good cosplays that you loved today?
Oh gosh, there was a lot of good stuff on the floor today. What did I see? The Mercy down there is really good. Her wings are pretty dope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a good Mercy down there. There's what is it? Warhammer 4000. Those big giant guys stomping around like the Space Marines, I think they're called. Yeah. They're awesome. That was AWA. The cosplay's been on point. Really solid. Everyone in my autograph line today was looking sharp. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Everyone's good. Lots of Sailor Scouts running around.
I've seen a few, which made me happy. I saw a lot of Saturns after season 3. I was like, great.
Yep.
Which is you rarely see Saturns, so it's like when you see someone dressed as it, you give them all of the props that you can.
Give them the prop.
Did you ever see any of the original Sailor Moon before you got pulled into the project?
I knew of it. It'd been a while.
Yeah.
I'd seen them in college. Like I hate to say, I think my buddy had like some bootleg CD-ROMs or whatever. This shows how old I am. Like some bootleg video files, and I watched. I was like, oh yeah, this is a Saturday morning cartoon, but I hadn't seen it in forever. So when the show came along, I had to remind myself about what it was all about. So I went and watched a little bit of it, not too much. Didn't really. I respect the previous Canadian dubs a lot, but there were 3 different guys. So I didn't know who I was listening to, who did they like, what was going on, so I didn't really try to listen to the English all that much. I just watched some of the Japanese scenes and kind of got the vibe of it, and that's where I went moving forward with the Japanese stuff.
Well, I'm so glad that I got to meet you because I'm really excited and I got to interview you.
You asked great questions. It was lovely to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Super nice.
The Black Girl Nerds podcast is produced by Jamie Broadnax. Various segments on all podcast episodes are edited by M.R. Daniel and John Bauer. The opening theme song to our podcast is written and performed by Samus. Various instrumentals used throughout podcast episodes are created by Samus, Sky Blue, and Shubzilla. You can find our shows on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and Stitcher.
That was a HeadGum podcast.